And I met Cynthia 3 months ago. She is a wedding photographer, luxury wedding photographer, who managed to charge $12,000 for a wedding. And she has a fascinating story. And yeah, Cynthia, I'd love if you could share a little bit more about, first of all, where you're from, and then what's your story and how you got to charge $12,000 for weddings.
Well, thank you, Sam, allowing me and inviting me to this podcast. So I'm from Puerto Rico. First of all, I'm from Puerto Rico, and I was raised half of my life in Miami. So that's where you hear this accent from. My journey through photography and charging 12K, yeah, it was not an easy one. I'm happy to share with you guys. At the beginning, I started my photography business in Colorado,
Mhm.
and that's kind of where everything started. Almost, not quite yet, because so when I was growing up, I loved modeling, acting, pageants. Like I was super. I'm still into Miss Universe. I just love it. I love how women, they carry this elegance. They captivate you while they're walking their own way. So I was really into modeling. So when I went to Colorado and I moved from Miami, I went to a modeling agency.
Yeah.
And I was signed with a modeling agency, and it was all cool. Like, I was super friends with the main owner, photographer. He just taught me so much about the modeling industry that I didn't know, in terms of like high fashion, what's high fashion. Because what I knew was pageants, but high fashion is different than pageants. He taught me like, hey, how to pose. He taught me about Coco Rocha. I didn't even know who she was until like I met him. And he was a fan of her. And I didn't understand why, but as I kept getting to know him and the art of fashion and the whole thing, then I just loved her more. And then every time I would go in a shoot, he would give me his camera to look at the photo. And when I would hold the camera, I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. Like, and we kept doing shoots, and he was like, hold my camera, hold my gear. And then I would hold his gear, and I'll be like, oh my God, this camera feels so good. Like, this feels expensive. And he was like, you look like a photographer, like you're starting to think like a photographer. And I was like, I don't know if I'm a photographer. I don't even know how to use the camera. But then I took a course. At the time, I really wanted good photos for my portfolio. And I was like, I need good photos. So I'm going to learn how to take better photos, just me, myself, for Instagram. And then I just took a course on like photography. I learned photography. And then after that, I did family photos in order to go to Coco Rocha's model camp. So I was like, hey, I'll do your photos for like $30, and I just need to get money so I can go to this model camp. I had zero intention to become a photographer. It was just a one-time thing. I think I got a lot of photographers mad at me. And they were like, oh, you don't even have a license. You don't. And I'm like, I just need money to go to the model camp. This is not a business.
A
Um,
license?
and then I got the money to go to Coco Rocha's model camp. So I went to the Coco Rocha model camp, and I learned how to pose. And I just learned how to be like, I just learned the art of posing, right? It was literally a craft. And after that, like, I know what to do in front of the camera. Like, I'm not afraid. There's so much that goes like into posing, and just basic things that I know now that I can tell my clients, like, they just know how to do. But anyway, I'm going to fast forward. So I learned from Coco Rocha. I came back, and I was still like, seemed like there was a high demand for photography after I did the photos. Then people were contacting me, hey, can you do maternity photos? Can you do all these photos? And I was like, oh my God, there's a big demand here. Like, people still want me to take their photos. Look like I did a really good job. So I continued to grow in that side, and then I started second shooting. I faked it until I make it. I said that I did photos, like wedding photos, when I actually didn't. Like, I faked my way there. I took like an engagement session, and then I just like did a website, and yeah, I kind of lied to a photographer so I could take a wedding photos. And then on the wedding day, like, I was like acting like I knew what I was doing, but I actually didn't. I was just like, okay, I'll take some photos. I mean, I knew how to take photos, but like I didn't screw it up too bad, you know. But
So
yeah,
it worked out.
that's kind of how it started for weddings. Then after that, I started noticing as I was taking shooting that the lack of service we were doing to the couples and the brides. I feel like the photos were bland, that they didn't have any like sauce to them. The brides looked basic, and I was like, oh, I feel like this is a disservice to them. So there was like kind of like this gray area where I was like, you know, I think I should merge my style, my fashion, my taste, my pageant style things into like the wedding business. And that's how like I decided to grow Cynthia Diaz photography.
Nice.
And
And how did
then
you grow from like low ticket to high ticket?
from low ticket to high ticket. Okay, so I first started with the knot. I know that's fucking. I think that's where everybody starts. I don't know if everybody starts there, but that's where I started. I started with the knot. I think I paid their like thing the first year. I think they
With
have like
what?
a featured or whatever at the time. They had like put you as, and I paid for like the premium version. So I would show up like on the first 5 photographers. And a lot of
Mhm.
people have a lot of beef with the knob because like it's a lot of money that you're paying, but I got my return back, you know. They send like a lot of fake brides and things like that. Maybe now recently, yeah, they have. But that's where I started. I started with the knob. And then that's what how I was able to jump from like 100 to 2000, 25, like 2500. But then I got stuck there because most couple wanted to buy good cheap, you know. So
Yeah.
the note says that the max is 5K for a wedding photographer, which is a lie. And then 3,500 people were like, but there was more competition there. And then when you're
Mm.
on the cheaper side, boy, it's a lot. And if you're in the cheaper side, right, of your competitors, then it's more likely that you might get more couples. But do I want to work my ass, you know, for a lot of people? You know, like I don't want to work too much, you know, like my energy and stuff on that many weddings. So there was a time where I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna keep charging 2,500. Like I'm gonna keep increasing it. So I decided to try 3,500. I was charging 2,500. Let's charge 3,500. What happens? And I would get clients, not get booked. And I was like, huh?
In the same platform?
In the same platform, yeah. In the same platform, I'm gonna now be 3,500 because you can change it right there really quick. And I was just using the knot. I was not using the wedding wire. Things about the wedding wire, but I was just using the knot. And I was getting brides here and there, but I was not booking 3,500 wedding, like a wedding. And then I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I feel like my photography is good. You know, I don't think that my photography is bad. I remember that I decided to target LGBTQ community. Like my homepage literally was two brides when they got married under the veil, you know, kissing. So that was like more eye catching to people when they will come into the website and be like, oh, you know, it's, and then I would just, you know, adding to the love, you know, so all on my page.
Yeah.
And I would get a lot of brides like that because it was eye catching. They can remember it, and then they would think that it was worth it, right? Because they were not just buying photography; they were buying like more than like a purpose, right? Like something to back it up.
Mhm.
Oh, you know, she supports LGBTQ. You know,
Yeah.
I can't wait. And then what else?
Yes.
Yeah, so after like 3,500 up, I was struggling. I was really struggling. Like I wanted to go up, and I would hear people charging like 5K up, and I thought that was like you need like 10 years of experience to charge, you know,
Yeah.
5K, $10,000 for a wedding. And it was just false beliefs that I had about like, oh, I cannot charge as much because of this. Oh, I cannot charge as much because of that. And it was
Love that.
always something that I cannot charge that much because of something. It was a false belief that we put in our heads saying you cannot do something because of this. That's a false belief. So I
Because of
started
something you
writing.
cannot control as well.
Yeah. I started like writing like my beliefs and changing them. Like no, my photography, it's not shit, it's good. I can charge this much,
Yeah.
and now just all the things that I was changing my mind shift, right? So at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
it's mind shift, mind shift, mind shift, and making yourself delusional for sure. Making yourself delusional, starting to believe that you're actually worth the price that you're charging. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? Like trying to say, one night you're 2K and then the next day you're 10K. Like, it's really hard. You need to believe it or the client's not going to buy.
Yeah, I think you
So,
need to see it first. You need to see someone else do that first, and then you can believe it, right?
yeah, exactly. I did see other people do it, and the more I was more into the surroundings of them charging more, I was like, oh, okay, so it's possible for me to charge more. I just need to be seen, right? And I was like, everything, it's in marketing. Everything is in marketing. At the time, I was like, you know what? I heard that the knot just targets budget brides. So I'm out of the budget brides because I don't want budget brides. So why do I need to stay attached to the budget brides? No,
Exactly.
and no shade to them because I love them. They help me grow my business. It's just where I want to be. I don't want to be working too much. I want to be earning as much as I want, working less. So I decided to focus on marketing in order for me to be seen in more places so that I can charge as much as I want. Because if you're global, then it sees you. And yet, how many people are in the earth? A lot of people on earth. So the market's wide open and I can charge as much as I want. The ceiling is the limit because it's a numbers game. So I decided to focus on Facebook and Instagram and start running ads. I ran ads and the first month it was rough. The first month I was like hoping to get my return back fast, but sometimes it takes time.
How much
But
did you
then
spend?
after the first month, the second month, like after, and it's not that it takes time. I was still growing. So I didn't probably believe my pricing. I had gone through somebody that told me, you shouldn't charge less than 5K. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I shouldn't charge less than 5K. Don't worry. Now I'm 8. Because I never wanted to be perceived as less. I always wanted to be perceived as more. So, for example, let's say the client had like 3 photographers. And I was one of the photographers they were looking at. I would ask like, oh, sure, like you're looking at other photographers. How come you're here? And they were like, oh yeah, we're still looking around because the other one, you know, it was a little bit whatever. They would tell me the price, right? I would request, right? I wouldn't request, but I would make them give me that answer without asking it
Ask.
straight
Yeah.
away. And they would say, yeah, it was like 7K or whatever. And I'll be like, okay, I'm 10K. Are you okay with that? Like, I on purpose will put myself in the expensive side so that they would automatically think that I'm worth more. Like, I must have
More
something
valuable.
that it's probably more than the competition, that it's better
Mm.
unconsciously, right? Because when I pay for a burger that is cheap, I think I'm getting something cheap, even though it's the same burger, if that makes sense. So
It
as I
does.
started
Yeah.
doing that, I started attracting more premium clients. But it was a
So they said
whole
yes or they said no.
at the beginning at the beginning I was, let's say they could say, oh yeah, my budget's 3,500, and I would say, oh, that's perfect because I'm 3,500, so we can work together. And they were still not booking, so I was thinking, I'm getting rejected at 35, I'm getting rejected at 5K, I'm getting rejected at 8K. So there's a bigger problem here than pricing. The fact that I'm gonna get rejected no matter what. It has to be like, it's not the price, it's that you need to accept that you're not gonna get a yes every time.
Hmm. So wait, you jumped from which price to which price?
So I went, honestly, I would go.
I'm gonna switch to my phone. Little pause. But so you went from like 35,000 to 10K, or what was the jump about? And how much time did it take you?
It took me, I would say, 2 months, because I was getting leads with the ads, so it was doing good, the ads. It took about 2 weeks for the ads to actually like get brides. But I was like very patient. I was like, I know it's gonna work. I know it's gonna work. It's gonna Meta got it. So eventually I started targeting brides, but I wouldn't put any pricing on my page.
Mm.
So whenever they would jump on the call, based on how I would see them, I'll be like, I'm gonna charge you this. If they said, oh, I have a budget of 5K, I'm very stressed about how much you cost. I really like your photos, blah, blah, blah. And when they start talking like, I really like your photos, I have a budget of 5K, blah, blah, blah. How flexible is your budget? Is that your ceiling, or whatever? And I would try to play these games, these mind games. I don't want to call them like that, but it's sales, right? You're trying to help the client, but you're also trying to help yourself. You're trying to make a negotiation.
Yep.
And I learned a lot from, I think it's a book. It's not like an audio book. I forgot his name, but
Brian
he's a
Tracy.
CIA. He used to work with negotiations
Oh yeah.
on, you know who it is?
Yeah, I don't remember
For,
his name, but yes, I don't. I know exactly who you're talking
yeah, him. Yeah, I gotta thank him. Because I started asking a question that most competitors don't ask. I feel like the
about.
couples, they know the same questions and they don't like them. You know, it's like talking to a salesperson and then they're like, hey, how you doing? You already know they want to sell. And
Pattern
it's like,
interrupts.
yeah,
You gotta do
what,
pattern
yeah.
interrupt, right?
So
You gotta sound different, otherwise you blend in.
exactly. If you ask different questions than your competitors and I use the same script, they might like you more. And it's
Exactly.
about, I noticed that on the call, we need to connect. We need to connect. The more we connect, the more I can raise the value and the more they can buy. So it was a jump, but as soon as I landed my first client at 8K, I was like, I'm not going back because I landed my client at 8K. So I'm worth 8K now. So now that I'm 8K, I'm staying at 8K. And then I was like, okay, now I'm 8K. Sounds good. I'll continue. And then I always put the bar higher and higher. I got the client at 12K. Now I'm worth 12K.
Amazing.
So
Wait, okay, so how many
yeah.
clients did you get already at 12K?
How many clients? I got 5, 6,
Five.
something like
Okay,
that.
nice.
Because
And
it's a shift between a year from now. I haven't been in business for a long time.
yeah, and so when you got your 8K client, what was before that? How much was that?
Before I got my 12K,
No,
it
8K.
was 8K.
No,
So
before
it
the
was
8K.
it was 2,500.
Okay, that's a big
So
jump.
that was a big jump, yeah.
I actually managed to
And
get
the funny part is
6K.
that okay,
Yeah, so it's interesting that you said like that people are not like it didn't work for you, the 6K or the in between. It's or you're the most expensive or you're the cheapest. Or you're like
yeah,
budget friendly or you're the most expensive, right?
yeah, yeah, because then you're expensive to the cheap people, or you're cheap to the expensive people. So there's this really hard line. I remember I was like, okay, my price is 4,500. And cuckoo, nobody was buying there because it's a blind spot. Either I was too expensive for the cheap rides. And then the luxury clients, I was too cheap.
Yeah.
So you gotta understand where your market is at and put a price.
Okay, so the big changes was going from like a budget platform in America, I don't know the name, to doing your own marketing and learning sales. That was the two main things that helped you, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the
And of
main
course,
things.
portfolio, and but your website, did you position yourself also very differently?
Yeah, every time a certain client, I would try to make the website as much as I could to them, to speak to them.
I did the
Oh,
same.
yeah, if the client now told me that if the client that I booked, right, at a 12K, liked one photo specifically, I'm not taking that shit down no matter what. That photo is staying. I don't care what the other photographers say. They tell me that the photo is shit, that I need to take it down. I'm not taking it down because it's making me money. No,
Yeah,
like you have a taste, my client has a taste, that's it. Maybe the lighting's not good, maybe the stars are not
100%.
aligned perfectly, but the client likes it. So
100%. Yeah, so you also stopped looking at what other photographers do or your competitors do, and you started looking into what clients really connect with, right?
yeah, exactly what the clients wanted. And also like me myself, started looking at myself, right? Because I would look at entrepreneurs around the world, even Anna Winter from Vogue, she even says it herself. If you want to succeed, you need to look within. Like, you cannot look at your competitors, what their competitors are doing, because they could actually be struggling. You don't know what they're doing. It's working. You need
Yeah.
like actually like proof that it's working.
And so we worked together 3 months ago, I think.
Yeah, we started working. Yeah.
What did we do together, and why did you even want to do something differently if you're already doing good?
I feel like I wanted to expand my community. I wanted to become really good at content creation because now the world's heading into content and I'm like, oh, I'm staying behind. I don't want to stay behind. I wanted to be, I like to innovate every single time. And I think that's how we connected because you are very into innovation and helping entrepreneurs like reach their goals, but a lot of the time it's through content
Yeah.
and marketing, putting yourself out there. And I'm a perfectionist, and I was having a really hard time like letting go of it has to look perfect or it cannot be posting. So I decided to okay, we need to post every day. We need to post every day, and to post every day, I need to let go of the perfectionist. So I have adapted a lot in that sense. And I was really stuck with the production side because even though I'm a photographer, I'm not a videographer. And I didn't know what takes a post to go viral. What does it take? Like, I was focused on, oh, this post went viral, I'm gonna jump on it, on the trend and whatever. But then it only lasts very little. Like, you can literally post a video right now, have tons of views, like millions, and then just die down because you attracted a lot of people, but you didn't attract your people.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is create a community, and I feel like we're now heading in that direction because I finally have a camera working, the lighting, the equipment. I'm starting my podcast, and I actually created already like a podcast, like a private podcast for my clients, and they're like enjoying it, they're loving it. So I cannot wait for them to leave me a review because I know it's gonna be good. Because I'm going all above and beyond for these people,
What do you mean?
and I think they know it. I think they know it.
What do you mean? Tell us more.
That they're getting things that they didn't think that they will get, right? Because it's like a surprise. So besides the gifts that I do, welcome gifts or whatever, they now have a VIP podcast that nobody else has listened to, only them. And they feel privileged to be able to like access that, something that they didn't actually buy, but it's kind of, oh my God, I get this experience that I didn't even know. It's a good experience, right? Because people are like, oh yeah, you need to elevate the experience, but most people don't know how to. Yeah. Or most people, they just stay basic with what everybody else is doing. You help me a lot bring the innovative ideas to my clients,
Yeah.
specifically for me, not for everybody. I'm pretty sure you will give another advice to somebody else, like a different entrepreneur, right? If they're
Yeah.
different than me.
Yeah, no, I had a few clients who were different than you. I had so other clients who was like freaking out about raising her prices, and then we
Oh my
connected you,
God.
and you helped her as well. That was beautiful. I thought. No, but yeah, I think in short, what we did for you was we built an AI, and then with this AI, no, the first thing we did is we found out what is unique about you. So we presented the modeling thing. We created like we communicated your offer or who you are in a much better way where it's okay, I'm not just hands with a camera like most people. I'm a model, or I'm an ex-model. I can teach you this, I can teach you that. We spoke about all the experiences, that the positive experiences that your clients had with you, and then we amplify that. And then we build your website that can help. No, we build you an AI that can build with the whole copywriting, and then we redesigned your website, rewrote your website. Did you add everything that we created?
Yeah, I added everything that we have created so far. The only thing that I'm working on right now, it's the course. So we are
Yeah.
um, starting to put it together.
Yeah.
It's already done. It's edited. It's just like it needs to be published
Yeah.
and things like that. And
So we did a lot of
yeah,
things. We built your YouTube studio, right? Now you're in your studio where you're
yeah,
with your camera, with your like one click
yeah.
recording setup. And then we're starting to do reels, a lot of reels, podcast. You can also do a podcast with your clients. That could be also really interesting.
Oh, that would be amazing. And then you always come with these good ideas. Like you're like a AI bot, but like almost the same level as the AI bot. I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what soundbot is doing. And we just ask. It's almost the same. Better.
Yeah. We're now creating a course that you're gonna make passive income from because that's one of your dreams, right?
It was my dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought I don't want to be 50. I told you this. I don't want to be 50, 60, working my butt off with the camera. Like, I want to make sure that I am thinking through the future and how to elevate. And if passive income is, I think passive income is a must.
If you if you there is a sentence, you will die. If you can't make money while you sleep, you will work until you die.
Yeah, that's a saying. And I believe it's true. That's why it's a saying.
Yeah, that changed my life as well. That got me to quit photography, to be honest.
I know. I know. And that's, I don't want to say the goal, but the more limited I am to that, and the more I can focus on other things, that's like the goal, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing weddings like other people are, like 40 weddings a year, or photographing like a bunch of events. I'm like,
So
that's
what
not
is the
where
future
that's
for you? I remember we spoke about like 50K weddings, things like that. But what do you see as your future?
you're gonna have to repeat that question again.
I remember we spoke about making an offer for 50, like people who would pay you 50K and things like that. But what do you see as your future?
As my future, honestly, if you put it out there, it might happen. But I don't like to talk about my goals before they happen. I don't know. It creates this false sense that you actually accomplished them when you actually didn't. But for some
Yeah.
people, it works, right? I guess it's a superstition. But I do see myself like charging a big amount, something absurd. Probably most people would think it's absurd to charge that much, but I will probably charge absurd money for doing weddings because it's a lot of stress, a lot of work, a lot of so much I put into it. Like, it's a whole year of working with a client. Like, it's a whole year of preparation.
What do you mean?
It's
A whole
not,
year?
I'm gonna show up at your day and photograph a wedding. Well, if it was like that, then I would do maybe a lot more. But I prepare a lot. And some of my couples are like, oh, tell me any horror stories that I need to know so I can prepare. I'm like, I don't have anything because I prepare myself so much so that I don't have any horror stories to tell. So yeah, that's
The
where I am.
perfectionism.
Yeah.
Let's speak about the perfectionism because that is something we had to work on. That was really interesting. And when you said it now, I just an analogy came to my mind where it's like imagine I think business is very similar to dating, writing a book about it. And so when you're perfectionist, it's like being a girl or boy who is trying to date this perfect other person and they're thinking about the message and they're not sending any messages or they're not posting anything to social media because they overthink how they will perceive it and they will just not write the message ever because it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And so what is better? Is it better that people see you every day or is it better that they see you once a month but when they see you there is all this tension there. It's not even perfect. They don't even perceive it as a perfect thing. It's like over thought about, and then there's so much tension where it's like you just feel this tension almost.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it, I also study psychology, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with anxiety. And when you have anxiety, you overthink things. You have a belief that other people are going to think something about you that it's false. You put that in your head, that, oh, I'm going to be perceived as less. This content is really good, but then this content is crap.
Mm.
And people are going to think that it's not good enough, that I'm going to disappoint people. It's a false belief that we put in our heads.
Mm.
I'm still working through it. It is a false belief. I'm still working through it because I do have anxiety. It's not like to excuse myself, right? It's just something that people struggle with. Like, they're not perfect. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any? I know you have ADHD, but
Yeah.
I don't know if anxiety.
Oh no, of course I have anxiety. Yesterday I had anxiety from noticing that my tax accountant did something's not correctly, and then he is ghosting me about fixing it. So I was like looking at the reviews and I see, oh, I'm not the only one who struggles with that problem. I need to find a new site.
Oh my goodness, that is a nightmare. Yeah, so I think that trying to be a perfectionist is because you're afraid of failure. You're afraid of somebody messing up, and you're just afraid of mess ups. You don't want to fail. You want to, that's
You
why
don't want
it's kind of
rejection,
like,
right? So I've studied a lot lately also, like cold approaching women and things like that. That's the one of the biggest fears humans in general, but men also have, right? Approaching a potential partner. And I learned something really interesting of why that happens, why they have so much fear and how it's so uncomfortable. And it's because we grew up, or our primitive mind grew up in naturally in really small communities of 100 people. And so if you would go and approach a girl, right? First of all, you don't have so much girl. You maybe have five girls or women that could be potential partners out of the 100, because most of them are mamas or too young. So at the right age, you probably have around five. And so if you go and approach that person, then what really can happen is that she rejects you. And not only that she rejects you, so that's you have 25 less options, 25% less options because it's 1 5. She will also tell all her friends because they all know each other. And so it's like, oh, he tried to approach me, but it didn't work out. He came so desperate, or he came like this and like that. And so the consequences from that can be that you just never have a partner, almost, which is fatal, right? And so I think that's where the anxiety of posting or showing who you are is coming from. But then on the other side, what I learned is that authenticity is one of the highest frequencies, and that's what people love the most. And since I learned that, I was trying to like be as authentic as I can possibly be, and that really worked every time. And sometimes it's hard to be authentic as well because you have this perceived like, oh, he probably wants me to be professional, or he wants me probably to come up with a suit and things like that. Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think you're right on the head. You nailed it. I feel like we have all our own experiences that shaped us, especially your environment growing up. And if you were bullied, you were probably one of those that are overthinking whether to post or not because you're gonna get screwed. I think I had a lot of going up too. When I post, I'm thinking they're gonna destroy me. Even though I like it could be nobody destroying me, but in my head, I'm thinking, okay, when they're on the other side looking at this, they're gonna think this.
Yeah. Yeah.
When in reality, I don't even follow none of those people, but
You
neither
know,
do
I
they know
use it
I still
sometimes to my
exist.
advantage. I sometimes I use it to my advantage. Like when you said, when I am about to, so I have this because I know that I can procrastinate. For example, on my website, I want to change some things, but I'll do it halfway, and then I will be like, oh, I need to be perfect, so I'll not post, and then I just force myself to post it, and then I know it's on my website. But I know that not so many people look at my website as well, so I'm like, who cares? And then I'm about to answer an email from like a really big CEO somewhere, and I'm about to send her my website. And so before I send it to her, or after I send it to her, I will go into my website, think about it from her perspective. Okay, does everything here make sense? Would she, if I were her with her beliefs, would I buy from me? And then I would completely change.
The amount of stress that you put yourself into. And I think like we push it to the side. We try not to like, okay, it doesn't exist for now. And then it's like you're ignoring it. Don't ignore it. Just face it. If maybe if you were able to get it done before, like actually looked at your website as if a CEO was looking at it already, you saved yourself a headache. Get it?
Yeah, and oh yeah, something really important as well. I learned about confidence and how to. I was a bully as well, or I was a, no, I was bullied as well. I was because I moved to a new country where I didn't know the language at all, and then I was the new kid who, well, yeah. So that just dropped my confidence because I lost all my friends. I lost everything. All my options were lost, and so I always like when I was the new kid in school, I was bullied. I didn't have any friends. I was the weird kid. which turned like made me a nerd and start playing with electricity and computers and things like that, which is a good thing as well. But I always noticed, like, oh, there's this new kid in school, but he's not bullied like I was. He is the king of the class. Everyone wants to be around him. And I always try to understand what's the difference between me and how his status is so high. I learned that not so long ago. I think this year I learned that a kid that has a lot of confidence, the main factor that plays with that is how much options he has. For example, like how much people love him. No, not love him, how much people like him. So, for example, if he has a fight with his father or his mother and he has no one, a lot of anxiety drops in. He becomes like a people pleaser, right? All of that comes in. But if he has his grandma lives around the corner and he has his uncle as well, and he has 10 family members around him, so if he fights with his father, he can just go live there for a while, or he can be with them and it will be all fine. Or he has like 100 friends around him as well in the whole neighborhood, he can just be there. Then he has much more confidence because he has much more options. So the translation to business would be the more leads you have, the more. That's why when I have clients, the first thing I try to do for them is to get them a lot more leads, because then when you want to raise your prices, you can get the confidence to do that because it just makes sense as well.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why I was able to raise my pricing so fast. It was because I was getting a lot more leads. And I was like, okay, that's fine. You rejected me. I have 3 more calls. So that scarcity mindset of like, oh, like I'm not going to make it. Like it was not there as much. That's why I was able to take more risk
Yeah, and the leads came from
to jump.
ads.
Yeah, it was from ads.
And how much did you
And
pay to get your first client?
how much did I pay to get my first client? I
Do this
would
whole shoot.
say I paid like 500.
That's not so much.
500. But that was a client of 8,800. So it was 9K.
Amazing.
It was not, yeah.
So you paid 500 and you waited 2 months, you said. So 500 in 2 months, and then you got this unicorn.
Oh, so I got my first, yeah, I guess you can say that. So I got my first client after a month and a half of running ads with me at 9K. Like it was 8.8. That's what I think.
Yeah. So it was 1.5 months of anxiety, not knowing if you're gonna make it, if you can actually raise your price, and money is going out because you're spending every day on ads. So I'm betting like
Yeah.
around $10 a day, correct?
Yeah.
Or maybe
It was 15, I think it was 15 a
yeah.
day, something like that. But like right after that client, I was able to close with another one. So if you think about it, it was like split.
The best time to close. What's the best time to make a sale?
When
Just after another sale.
after you
That's where
make the
you
first,
have,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's
the first sale.
inevitable.
But yeah, you just have so much confidence. You're like, I helped this guy,
Yeah,
or I did it, and then
yeah.
you're like, let's do it again.
And I think I believed that so much. Like I can help you. I believed that so much because I decided to grow on the. To be honest, I still have my first camera. Like most people spend a lot of money on gear. I'm one of those that I believe in the gear. Like I focus so much on getting the income that I wanted so that I could buy my camera. So I had to believe that I had the camera, that I had the top equipment, so that I could sell, so that I could buy the equipment, and now I can give you the best. Probably not ideal. Don't do that, but
Why
that's
not?
what
You
I
can rent a
did.
camera. You can rent a camera
Oh
super
yeah, you can rent
easy
a
for one
camera too.
day.
Yeah,
Who cares?
yeah, yeah. It's only one day. I didn't think about that. But at the time, I was in a very small town, so I'll give you that.
Mm.
So yeah, because when I started, I'll tell you this. So I moved from Colorado to Kansas. In Kansas, there's nothing. Just think about like just cornfields. Have you ever seen Wizard of Oz? The
No.
tornado that comes and goes, no, okay, that's fine. So there's nothing there, 4 miles and just 7 hours of nothing. And I was
Mm.
stuck there and I had to sell photography.
Mm.
And the people don't have the money to pay for photography. Not even $100. That's too much. And I was like, goodness Lord, the knot is not working. 2,500 to go to the farm to take photos. it's a no. Like, I don't want to go to the farm to take photos. For me,
Mm,
that would like repulse me. I was like, I'd rather just stay home and be broke than go and take photos at the farm. That was how much I
mm,
hated it. And then I found ads and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm in the middle of nowhere and I can run ads, and then it's gonna target everybody that I want, and then I can make the money that I want in the middle of nowhere. For me, it was a big challenge. I made it and I was like, damn, like I made 12K in the middle of nowhere. That is a big accomplishment.
yeah.
Like, I was like patting myself in the back.
Yeah, you
Oh
could, you
my god,
should,
I
you should.
freaking did it in the middle of nowhere.
That is beautiful. Yeah, and also like for me, money is, I think about it often. It's okay. For me, for example, I get 10K sometimes, right? And then it's okay, what is 10K? Some people work like half a year for that. Like I used to work half a year for that, a full half a year. And now I can do that in, I don't know, like working full time on it a day or two, right?
Yeah.
Wow. And so it's like putting everything into perspective of like it's a big change. It's a big shift.
Yeah, it's a big shift. And I believe that you need to fake it until you make it. If you go on a call, on a sales call, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, charge this much, try it, see. I have literally people like told me, like literally on the call, like, 8K for like this much. I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then some of them, they might actually get frustrated because they jumped on the call, they didn't know the pricing. Now I'm telling them it's way more over their budget. I'm like, don't worry, you did not waste your time. I have recommendations that might be better.
Yeah,
So I already know what you like, so I will literally select the people,
I
you
love that.
know?
That is abundance mindset.
Yeah.
It took me a
So
long time to do that as well. But also for me, I was just like sending emails. So people would, I was sending my prices in emails. And it works in B2B as well, especially. And so I was like, yeah, it's 3K, 5K, whatever. It's $500 an hour, those things. And then they were like, or not responding, or it's out of our budget. And I was, and I then was like, okay, no problem. And I always thought like, oh, that's a waste of lead. That's a waste of money. Now nothing is going to happen from it. And then I started, okay, let's have this abundant mindset. Let's just send, hey, if you want, I have some other photographers who can help, and then I refer them to them. But it took me a really long time because I was always afraid of, okay, now I'm giving my clients to other photographers, and then they will take my market and they will see what I'm doing and they will try to copy me. And but that's a limiting mindset. I think one of the the biggest success I had was always when I started having this abundance mindset where there's no fear. Like for example, on Instagram, I shared like the biggest success I had was from sharing my secrets. The biggest things that I was like, I don't want anyone to share. Like I don't want anyone to know that. Once I share that on Instagram, people were like, "Oh my god, I have to follow this guy. I have to share this with everyone," and that's what like blew it up. And I think in business as well.
yeah, I think just like Alex Hermosi, he says that he's sell the idea, and then no, it
No,
was
share your
no,
secrets,
give
sell
out
the
the
implementation.
value. Wait a minute.
Share your secrets, sell them
Yeah,
implementation.
yeah, exactly. And then no, give your secrets away and sell the implementation.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's a good one.
that's
I'm
sentence.
starting to do that.
Yeah, how?
I'm giving away kind of some of the things that I do, right? Whether I may pick even the course, few clips from the course, and just leave them for free so that people have an idea of what the product is going to be like, so they don't get super disappointed, but they also feel like, oh, like I really got like enough information from her. Like when you give so much to somebody, they feel like they need to give back automatically. It's
I have something to share about that might be interesting for you because I've literally done that. But you're saying like, yeah, I'm gonna give a little bit for free. I gave everything for free, and it was not like black and white. It was not directly, but it was just like, okay, let's give this away for free. Let's give this. Okay, let's give the best things for free now. And so a lot is on YouTube, a lot is on Instagram. And what I realized, it just changed my life completely because not only like I was always afraid, okay, if I give
mm,
everything for free, then that's it. Everything is gone. But it's actually not what happened. What happened is that I grew from it so much. Now I attracted like super rich people, people who make 1 million a month, or like different people who helped me grow because of that, because they saw that I was much smarter than what like I would show that I am before, right? When you show like some things of you, then people see you as okay, she is providing some value. But when you show the best version of you, then they're like, oh my god, she's really smart or he's really smart because you show the best things. And so that gets you crazy results from the universe, from other people, from like Instagram blowing up. And now, from thinking like this is how much value I can provide to people, or I was thinking like I can provide this much value to people. Now I can provide so much more value because my Instagram blew up. So I have more experience with that. I get what people pay attention to. Now I'm surrounded by people who make a million a month or with super millionaires. So they teach me also a lot of things. And so my value just raises and raises like much faster rather than being in limiting things.
Yeah, I would think about giving all the things for free for sure. But yeah, I think you're right. When you give really good stuff for free, people are like, oh my God, they're coming from all over the world to know more. What else do you know? Did you feel like scared that you would run out like of ideas?
I was terrified. Yeah, I was terrified. You know what? Like first time actually, I shared my prices online. I got one of my colleagues, another photographer, who actually was like 8 years a photographer. I was maybe 3 years a photographer, and he would give me jobs, right? And so I shared my prices on my website, and maybe he wanted to give me a job, or I don't know why he looked at my website and he saw the prices and he was like, Sam, you're charging $200 an hour or 200 euros an hour? That's ridiculously a lot of money. You should really like or hide it or put it down to 100 an hour. I'm charging on 100 and he's charging on 100 an hour. So why would I charge more? And he gave me jobs. So I was like, you're so right. I'm so sorry. I will take it down. And I was traumatized by that. And so I remember the first time wanted to share my prices online on Instagram. I was terrified by that. And it's really important to share because that's credibility, right? It's like okay, people are going to listen to you if you are where they want to be. And so I was really afraid of that. And I was also like when I started sharing my secrets, I was really afraid that like I always had in mind, okay, I'm doing this for the world. I'm doing this for other photographers outside of my world, but I really don't want my competitors here in Amsterdam to see those secrets because then they will just use that against me and I would not be unique because this is what makes me unique, right? And so at the beginning, sometimes like I block some of them, or if I would get a bad comment from someone, I would block them or I would try not to see them, but I always had them in the back of my mind. And then I started just doing it and getting over my fear, and that's where Instagram just blew up, and they became irrelevant anymore. They were just not my competitors anymore because I started making money from Instagram, and I was like, okay, they're not competitors anymore. I don't care anymore. And I
Exactly.
noticed
I
that
think
some of them
once,
stopped following me as well.
wow, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had one main competitor that I was like always afraid they will do something with all the information I'm giving, that they will do exactly the same. And at the beginning, they were supportive, and then of what I'm posting, and then it's been 3 years since. But now I've realized, hey, they don't even follow me anymore. They don't even see what I'm doing.
That is crazy. Oh my goodness. No, I applaud you for that. I think there's so much to learn from you still, especially like giving away like your ideas and things like that and not holding back. What made you like realize I need to give? What was the aha moment that you said, I'm gonna give everything
It
now?
was this sentence that you said by Alex Hormozy: "Share your secrets, sell the implementation." I didn't even know what it means. I didn't even understand it. I was like, I don't know why, but I trusted Alex Hormozy so much. So I was like, I'm just gonna try it. He
And I
was the
think that's
first he was the first millionaire that was doing it in a really good way. I always thought to be rich, you need to step on other people's head. That's what my parents taught me, and that's what I learned from everyone. So I never wanted to be rich. I wanted to be rich, but I didn't never wanted to do the bad things. So that's the first time I was like, oh, there's a positive way to become a millionaire, and so I'm gonna do everything he tells me. And so I did that, but also I wanted to make money online. And I tried. I actually spent like $2,000 on ads. Got me nothing, and I didn't have so much money back then. So I was just like, okay, let's try it. Like he grew his social
Yeah.
media so much. You have to try
Give
it
me one
yourself,
second. I'm sorry.
kid.
They decided to tell me. They discovered the secret, the hiding place, the West Wing. Okay, so I'm sorry. You were saying.
Now, I think you're asking me what made me really share my secrets. Oh, you know what I realized as well? Like some of those secrets I actually learned from Instagram. So then when I gave it like again, when I shared it, I was like, okay, it's going super viral. But then I was like, I didn't invent it. I just saw another reel or another TikTok video that shared it. I took it for myself, used it for a whole year, kept it like a secret, and now I'm just sharing it along again. So is it really mine? Like everything is just from the universe and you're just giving it back to the universe. But if you take everything to yourself, then you limit everything.
It's like a good chef when they die and you're like, damn, you didn't leave me any recipes. What a waste.
Yeah, but your secrets, where did you learn them from?
I learned them from somebody that was giving them.
Exactly.
So yeah. So now I gotta spread it out so they other people learn from. Just
You can
like
look at
it
it.
costs. I'll give you what holds a lot of people back, and I think that's part of my why I'm like it's because to learn what you have, like learn, it took you time. It either took you time, it took you money,
Yeah.
it took you a lot of things that a lot of people are not they're not putting the work and then they get them and then they receive them
Mm,
and I feel like
yeah.
there's a lot of people that take and don't give nothing back
But we are
and
like that. You just said it yourself. You learned it from the internet and you're not giving it back.
I did. Yeah,
You just
yeah,
said
I
it. I did
did.
it myself as well. But I think there's a whole principle about it. If we want to talk about energy, it's like we receive things from the universe, we receive secrets from other people. And then if we just keep them for ourselves, then the energy is just being blocked. It's like being a jealous boyfriend or something like that. But when you give it away, you let it flow again. You put your own spin on it. You try it yourself, and then you're sharing like, "Hey, this really worked for me." And it doesn't mean you need to share it on Instagram. You can share it with your friends. You can share it with your colleagues. Now, like the whole energy is okay. People see you as much more
Yeah.
valuable.
I think that's what happens when you step into your coach era. Because I don't know if you played sports, but when you play sports, the coach might tell you
It's also
everything at
friends.
the beginning. And then he might actually help you adjust on things that you need to improve. You yourself, Sam. Like you need to improve here and there and blah blah. Yeah, I actually don't think it's bad. You actually Sam. Yeah.
What is a good coach? A good coach, like I'm a coach, right? I am trying to be like a good friend. I'm not trying to be like a coach. I don't think who is the best coach. Yeah, sometimes, but I'm trying also to think who is the best friend. Trying to mimic that environment. So it's all connected.
Wow.
A good friend would tell
Honestly,
you something that they kept as a secret. It would be too good to be true.
yeah, no. And there's always more, right? Because, like, people are not going to do it. Even if you give them the secrets, they're not going to know, like, how to do it. Because
Oh
you
yeah,
say, oh, you need better equipment for your video calls. And it's, oh, great. How do I do that? And then you tell them how, but I don't know how to put it together. And then they need you to do certain things, right? So
yeah.
you're
But
100%
look,
right.
I saw 2 days ago a reel where there was like it was a guy who was putting like a mask of an evil man or something like that, and it reminded me of how I grew up because it was like someone who was like counting money, and then someone came to him and was like, "How do you make so much money? How do you do that?" And then he was like, "Ooh, do you want to know my secrets?" And I was like, that used to be a secret, right? Most people don't share how they make money, right? And so I am around this world where everyone wants to speak about how they made the money. They want to share their secrets. But for this guy there, it was like, oh, that's my secret. Close the door. I will only tell you if you don't tell anyone else. And so I grew up in that world where it's like, we don't talk about money. We don't talk about like how do we get the things that we want. And so now, so maybe my circle has just changed, and what I see online has just completely changed from what I could have get. But I think also frequency wise, like the whole world is raising in frequency where
Mhm.
we share our secrets with everyone.
Yeah. How does your family feel about that? Like now that where you are at, do you feel like they're different?
My family thinks I'm obsessed with money, and So they're like, "Oh, Sam, stop thinking about money all the time. It's bad people only talk about money, or money is for bad people. Like only evil comes out from money. Stop focusing on that so much." We have struggles there. So I'm trying to explain like, hey, it's not really the money that I'm focusing about. It's like the energy and the frequency and the givingness and this whole loop. And money is just a way to measure success.
Yeah.
You know what? Like yesterday was something funny happened. I'm here in Amsterdam. I haven't been here in I think almost a year. And the first person, like I have uncles and nephews here, like I have some family members here, and I haven't seen them yet. But the first person I meet yesterday, or the first two people I meet, is actually clients of mine. Yesterday, I met a client who paid me, for me, it was a lot back then, but it was 5K for a wedding. And and we're like best friends. We're talking like I'm inviting him to a restaurant and paying for him, and we're just like pretty good friends, and we're talking. And now I'm at the house of another client of mine who, yeah, I'm sleeping at her place, right? She is on vacation now, but I'm sleeping at her place. That's one of the most beautiful things. So my best friends are my clients. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think when I grew up, I couldn't realize that you can become best friends with your clients, that it always needs to be professional. And that's where I realized, okay, there's a lot of power to authenticity. So I'm doing business in a completely different way. But that's maybe what my family doesn't understand as well. It's like my clients are my best friends. And the best way I can become friends with someone is to sell them something, because that's where we continue our relationship, because we continue to be together. And so also for my friends, sometimes I'm like, hey, I think you should really buy from me, or I think we should really pay, because otherwise we are not going to be in touch anymore. And this is what happens with most of my friends. We're not in touch anymore because we just grow to different directions. But I see that they still want to have a better website, to have better things. And I'm like, I can help you with all of that. Let's work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's messed up, but I think I'm working on beliefs of selling is bad. No, it's a beautiful thing. It's one of the best things you can do for someone.
No, that's actually like great, like not operating on the scarcity mindset and more like abundance, think abundance, like help, because you'll be given, right? You might, like, I believe this, right? You give on like a certain side of you gives to certain people, and then it comes to you in a different way. It's just how I feel like life operates. If you, and I think saving my energy, like being away from people that do not serve me, in the sense of like positivity, abundance thinking, and all that stuff, has helped me focus more on my business. When I'm around family members that they work 9 to 5, whatever, they might not have different ideas. The way that they talk is different. And it brings my vibration so low that I have decided to limit myself with certain people so that I can focus more on the business side and not fall into the scarcity mindset that, you know.
Where does your
um
family live?
huh?
Where does your family live now?
Where does my family live? They live in, one of them lives in Miami, my mom. Most of my family members live in Puerto Rico. My brother, he lives here by Orlando.
Okay. And
But
in
he
Puerto
recently just
Rico,
moved.
how much do they make a month usually in Puerto Rico on average?
It's miserable, but they make, so I feel like my family members, they're very distributed. So I have a family member that might work a minimum wage, and then I
Oh no, I'm
have
not speaking about
another
your family
member that is a
members. When you grew up, what was the normal salary to get?
when I grew up, what was the normal salary? You had to study a profession. Like when I grew up, you had to study a profession. You had to become something like a CPA, accounting, like a doctor, lawyer. Important, right? But I was not. My mom was not. My mom, my parents are divorced. Ever since I was a baby, so I've always had them. They're like completely opposites. I don't know how they got married. You know. So my mom is on one ear, my dad is on the other ear. It's poor dad, rich,
Yeah,
what is it?
rich.
Yeah, just like rich dad, poor dad. So I know which side's good, which side's not bad, you know? My dad is an entrepreneur. He has his own school in Puerto Rico. He has tons of his students. he recently decided to open the photography side just because of me. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. That is so cool. And he literally got inspired of me. He was like, okay, I'm going to open a side of, because
That's so
his school is
beautiful.
more about learning vocational things. If you want to become a plumber, technician, or things like that, that's kind of his school. And my mom, on the other side, she works with human resources. So she is very about how a person looks and professionalism and how everybody needs to look. And yeah, so I have my mom, who was a pageant woman, and she works with human resources and has this idea that you need to have a good employment. And then my dad, who is more on the freedom side, you need something that fulfills you and create a business out of anything. That's actually what he does. That's why he has a vocational school, because on that he's teaching people how to run a business on anything: plumbing, handyman, handywoman, whatever, you name it.
Beautiful.
And then from my whole family, they're all scattered: CPA, accountant, doctors, things like that. But yeah, you do need to be like, have a stable job or whatever. And they look at me like I'm a loser, but I'm okay. They do. My husband tells me all the time, they look at you like you are like shit. And I was like, that's fine. I'll take it. Because
What do you
it's
mean?
so much better. Huh?
How do you mean? How did it look? How do you notice that?
It's about respect, right? When you earn a certain amount or you're a doctor, unconsciously respect you more. And they're like, oh, like this someone's amazing, or they talk good things about you because you are a doctor now. So it's a respect. And because I don't have the employment or whatever, they might look at you like, oh, and
But
feel
you make
bad,
more than a doctor.
I know, but it's fine, because
Do
is
they
that
know that?
whenever I would talk, huh?
Do they know that you make more than a doctor?
No, I don't want to tell them how much I earn.
Okay, that's
Because
why.
I'll tell you why. I rather they look at me like a loser, because my energy is safe. My energy is kept. It's almost if I were to talk to the wall and tell them what I do, like they either might not understand it,
Yeah, they
or
would think
they
you're a scammer.
might think I'm a scammer, or they like, actually, I think I've told them, but they don't believe it.
Hmm.
I think they need to see it on paper. And then another thing is they wanted to know everything that I did. So at the beginning, like I was telling, oh yeah, the photography. Blah, blah, blah. At the beginning, I was very outspoken, and they wanted to know what I was doing so they could do it. So it's almost like, oh, you found a way to make money? Teach me so I can do it too. And I was like, I cannot teach everybody to do this thing. It's gonna be time consuming. I need to focus on mine to keep growing it. So if I'm perceived as less, then I get less attention. So I can focus on keeping growing. Like, if I were to be
I did that.
very
Yeah.
show off or whatever, they're all gonna wanna know what I'm doing. They're gonna wanna leave their jobs, and it
I
worked
know
for
what you
me
mean.
and things like that. No.
I know what you mean. I have one brother who really wants to learn exactly what I'm doing, and I taught him for 2 months. 2 months I was like with him, showing him how to do it, trying to give him jobs, giving him like my other clients, things like that. I taught him how to build websites with AI, and it was my lowest month ever. It took so much energy for me. It burned me out. It was terrible. And
And
so
they don't value it because it's free.
exactly
So
that was the
maybe
problem.
maybe if you charge them, they might value it, and on top of that, they curse you because you're charging them.
Yeah, so it's really
So
interesting.
yeah.
But have you tried? I paid for my mother not too long ago a flight to Bali, and I paid her for some things there. And that's where she was like, I understand what you're doing now, Sam. This is because she also met a lot of my clients. She also met a lot of my friends. And I remember I introduced her to one person, and she was like, Sam, okay, I understand now. I understand now what you do. I see how he respects you. I see like you created a whole network here. It's insane. And paying for a flight was like, he's making money. He's doing good. I trust him. Like I trust him. I don't need to take care of how he makes money and things like that. So that helped me a little bit.
Yeah. And I think like the world is changing now, so they might be more open
Have you
than
tried to do
years
that?
ago if you want to,
Have you tried to pay for them?
to pay for them.
For yeah, for your family.
Yeah, I have paid for them many times. They think I might be in there or something. They're like, no, please don't pay. I got it. Okay. Okay. You can pay. I can pay. I'll pay for you. Most of the time I pay. Once I pay like this really nice Airbnb, and that's when they were like, where is this money coming from? And they might think I might watch money, launder money or something. I don't know. They're like, where is this money coming from? Then they started to like a little bit like respect. Oh, maybe she's actually doing something important. But until this day, they still don't understand. They might send me things from Amazon, like a little, like a beginner set. I don't know. I don't know those
Added
like
cleaning
studio
sets.
sets or
Yeah,
like Christmas like wallpaper. You know how they do that.
yeah.
What the fuck? Why you send me the Christmas decor that I need to do? I'm not at that level. They think that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what they think. But yeah, it's something that I have. Woo, okay. I'm working. So I'm like a little hoards.
Family is really hard. I struggle with it as well a lot. I have one sister that's like a musician. She's quite good, but she's still at the low paying gigs. And I want to help her. I see her Instagram like not too long ago, a week ago. I saw her Instagram and she was posting when you do a cover album. She was posting it in 9 different posts, like
Oh,
pieces.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, sister! Like I would, if I wouldn't know you, I wouldn't follow you and block you from everywhere. But I'm just telling you, please don't do that because I see 9 different posts and I hate you for that, and everyone would hate you for that. So she deleted it. So she listened, but that was the only time she ever listened. And I tried to, hey, maybe you can do reels like this. You can do this. She never listens. But I think what I'm trying to do is, and I think that's the best way. Instead of telling them directly, is doing telling them on social media. So basically,
Yeah.
telling them on a post and being like, if you're a musician, this is what I think will work the best for you. And then I'm telling it for everyone, but also hopefully they pick up on it and they can do with it something. But it's also like the best time efficiency. Like when I just started out with social media, I forced myself to post every day, and I was like, instead of me telling how I'm doing to my mom, like when my mom asked me like, "Hi, how are you doing?" I can just tell Instagram how I'm doing and then send it to her, and I think that's the best efficiency of time. Yeah, posting something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think family, I think they play a crucial role, especially as an entrepreneur, because those are the people that we love. We surround ourselves,
Yeah,
and I feel like when one good apple, it's with bad apple, they just get old, contaminate. So you need to take yourself out of there for a little bit, work on yourself, focus on the business, and then every once in a while, do spend time with them. Know where the boundaries set.
yeah, boundaries are important there. So, what is the future for Cynthia now?
Let me think. I feel like the future for Cynthia going to be transformational because we are thinking as a big brand. We're gonna grow so much that everybody's gonna know Cynthia Diaz here and there, just like Alex. And I wanna be an inspiration to other people that they can do it themselves, that don't let the situations of life like stop you from achieving those goals because they're gonna come. If you like focus, give your time, energy to them, they will come. So I think where we're heading right now for this year, it's growing the podcast, growing the community, and giving our all to the brides.
Beautiful. So you're gonna become basically more authentic and vocal.
Yeah, more authentic, more vocal, get to know me and what I can give to them. I just get to know you can get to know me like right now, but more learn things that maybe you didn't know. More educational. Yeah.
Interesting. How do you see the future? Like the future is changing completely. World War III may be happening. Everything is shifting to AI. What do you think? Like, what do you think there will be more demand, and how do you play with that?
That's a tough question.
It is.
I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty
Yeah.
in the world, and people want to feel certain right when they're living day to day life. You just have to adjust, honestly.
Yeah.
If you need to make your business recession proof, then make it recession proof.
How are you gonna do that?
Whether that's with weddings, not weddings, with information out there, passive income, whatever you gotta do to make sure that your business stays no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like photography? Do you think? Do you feel like? How do you feel about the future of photography?
What do I feel about shooting photography?
The future of photography. Do you think
Oh, the future.
photography is growing or shrinking?
I can make a bunch of photos.
What?
AI
Yeah,
make a lot of photos.
yeah,
AI can literally create anything. If I
yeah,
put a bride in Italy getting married, it can create that. It cannot create, at least until right now. It cannot. There's no Tesla robot or whatever walking at your wedding taking photos. And if it does, you might feel uncomfortable walking with a robot, at least for right now. So maybe in the next 50 years, we might see robots photographing weddings, and I'm all for it. I don't mind owning robots, and they do the photography work, and I run the business. I don't think that the robots are gonna. If they want to go photograph their wedding, so be it. I'll just make sure that I have my taste and style. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't consider the robots a threat or the AI a threat. I think it's there to help us make things easier, save time, spend it wherever you want, like with family, friends. And
yeah.
there's always ways to make money and innovate.
Yeah, there's a lot. There, I actually wanted to ask yesterday if there's more opportunity that are going to be created by AI or less. I'm not sure about it, but I think the whole world is going to go, like humans are going to focus more on humans. And so the human connection is just gonna like that's where the biggest potential is to connect with more people, networking, things like that, and helping, and less in the technical stuff. Like AI is going to
Yeah,
take care
exactly.
of
And
more
I
of the
think
technical
like
stuff.
I feel like clients now are gonna value more one-on-one interaction. They're gonna value
Human connection.
I think they would prefer like a human there that they can talk to and feel natural on their wedding day and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think at least for the wedding, like wedding photography, I don't think like AI is a trend. I would say maybe for all the ones that have nothing to do with people. For example, landscape, architectural. It could or it could not. I don't think a robot right now can take a photo of a building that you see right in front of you. They could try to imitate, but it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of jobs are going to be eliminated or changed completely. But yeah, the biggest value is going to be between human connections and being helpful. And maybe in the future, it's going to be like a lot of things that we just do for free to build those connections. And a lot of like maybe we'll have a basic income from the government and we'll just want to help each other. We want to be out there and connect with new people. Because I heard a sentence once: everything you want in life, other people have. I'm not sure if it's 100% true. There's a lot of things that you want in life that can be just like fixed here, but still other people have those beliefs they can help you get it. And so just like humans are like other people are the gateway for everything. So if it's and not everything needs to be about money as well. Like in the future it might be like you go and you help someone for free and you get something like it's going to be more of a love relationship. Let me help you for free. I want to. I'm passionate about it and my basic needs are met already. Help you, and then they're like, hey, I see that I can help you with this back, and then it's like a love relationship of giving, giving, giving. That might be also potentially.
Yeah, I can see that happening too. Yeah, it's very uncertain for sure,
Yeah.
no matter what.
All right, anything you want to finish the podcast with? Any good insights
Um,
or things you want to share with?
think. Let me think. You're gonna cut this, right? You're gonna edit it, right?
Maybe.
I hope so, because I'm over here like hoping that you're gonna cut my in betweens ums and things like that. But
No, I'm not.
no, honestly, I think working with you was amazing. Super excited, like for what's coming, where my business is heading. Cannot thank you enough for giving me the tools literally to walk now and be like, I got it. Because when you don't have the tools, it's really hard. You have to spend a lot of time figuring it out yourself. So, yeah. And for everybody watching, I hope this was helpful, informative, or it inspired you in some sort of way. I'm always here to help. I'm an open book. You can ask. I know it's like, I try to help as much as I can, especially for individuals. Not every advice is for everybody, but take it with a
Yeah.
grain of salt.
So people can message you and you will mostly answer, right?
Of course, yeah. Then I'll tell them about Sam.
Me too.
Because
Yeah,
I'm
but
not coaching yet.
you are gonna. Start soon, right? You're
For
building your
brides, but
course.
not for photographers yet.
Okay. Anyway, if you're a photographer and you are interested, Cynthia will still answer you, and potentially there's something that can happen there. She's
Yeah, exactly.
exclusive yet. We're gonna be your first client.
Yeah, exactly. So excited. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cynthia. Anything else?
That's pretty much it. Thank you, Sam, for inviting me to this podcast. It was an
Are you gonna do anything
amazing
with it?
time.
Are you gonna share? Are you gonna cut it and share it on your Instagram as well? Part of it, or in YouTube?
Yeah, I need to make sure it's perfect.
Oh, last thing. I was thinking about it. Actually, the thing that I shared before with text messages is not exactly true. But it's more like imagine you go to school, and every time you go to school, you need to be perfect. What are you gonna do? You're gonna put a lot of makeup on all the time, and you're gonna be like a little bit stressed and tensed, and people are just gonna feel it and not gonna connect to you because you're not relatable. So they're not gonna connect to you at all. And that's how
Right?
we come across online, right? On Instagram, it's this perfect thing that cannot do anything authentic. But then you don't show up every day, right? You show up once a month to school, and then you're this perfect version, and everybody thinks you're depressed or something like that. But when you're authentic and you just open your camera and you share something, and sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good, but you don't care about the views, you don't care about anything, you don't care about if people interact with it or if people engage with it, or you're just there authentically. One time you're like with a like under a bridge, homeless, and the other day you are somewhere else. Who is the person they're going to remember and potentially want to work with and potentially want to like connect with?
Yeah.
The second
The more
version, right?
authentic one, the one that it's very unfiltered.
Yeah, and I think like I have this one friend who makes 1 million a month, and he told me like it's much better to have a video on your website where you just share who you are than have beautiful design. Now, take it with a grain of salt because, like in photography, it's a lot about visual things and design is really important. But it's the concept of it's better to show up authentically than not show up and hide behind photos or hide behind design and word and text and things like that.
Things like that. I want to ask you this: how do you overcome not knowing what to post? Because sometimes we have. So, how do you know when you have a bunch of product, right? What? How do you know what people like to see? Like, how do you know?
You test it on Instagram sometimes. So I there's a lot of ways. One way is to look what other people post, but I try to think always like for you, for example, when you have this ideal client, I'm sure you have this ideal client in your mind where you already sold to her, and you think, oh, I wish she could see this, or I want to send her this proof, or my other client just sent me this crazy result or this crazy testimonial. I want to share it with her, or I just had this crazy story where I went to this wedding venue and they were super nice, and or I just realized that most people don't know how to pose and things like that. And so you think, what would she wanna receive? What how can you help her? And you just share that. And you can take it to an extreme way where I took it to where it's like if mom asks me how I am doing, instead of telling her I'm doing, I'm just gonna share that on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. So if you get something that you want to share to with everybody, you just share.
No, if you want to share something with one person, you always think about this one person that you want to share with her, and instead of sharing only with her, you just force yourself to share it with Instagram publicly. And a lot of the best videos, the best reels, are the best part of a conversation with your best friends, right? It's the center of, hey, I just listened to your whole story and I think you're delusional because this and this. That's what gets attention. That's like the best part of the advice or the conversation. So the most interesting parts of conversations, those are what I usually like to share. So if I want to send a message to one client, a potential client that I want to do follow up with, or I want to like not follow up, but send them some value, send them some proof, send them some ideas that I have for them. Instead of sending it to them, it's better to share it on Instagram. Then everyone sees it. Much better time, like efficiency of time. Yeah, and also like always learning. Like when people, for example, in Bali, I was living there, and I always had people who ask, "Hey, what do you do for work?" And so every time I tested saying something differently. One time I would say, "Oh, I'm a photographer." The other time, "I'm a coach. I'm this. I'm that." And then I always saw what they would be interested when they would lean in. And whenever they would lean in, I would try that more and I would try different variations of that. And so the best thing I found was just to say, I used to be a photographer, videographer. I was working with Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, and I realized that I never knew how to use my content. So I that just a short story that works much better than saying I'm a photographer or I'm a coach. Because when you say I'm a coach, that gives no value to anyone, and they don't know what you do anyway.
Yeah, I think it's so funny. It's about being remembered and being top of mind.
Yeah, being like you want to see it from their perspective. What would they understand? What would provide value to them? And then just saying that instead of saying a photographer, it's I think for you, for example, a good way when people ask you what do you do, then you can be like, you know how? Have you ever seen a wedding that you remember was really good, but the photos were terrible? Or have you ever seen like people were super uncomfortable in front of the camera when there was a awkward photographer? Well, that's what I do. I have a really good camera and I'm really good at posing people and I do wedding photos.
I like how we think when I worked with you, we think outside of the box of just being a photographer. We think about the value that we can create just being ourselves.
Like what?
Huh?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, seems like when I worked with you, you focus a lot on the value, on everything is about value. Maybe you might not understand what I mean by that, but it's when you focus on, so for example, I can be a photographer, right? But now I'm a photographer and a model, my experience and things like that. And in that field, what can I dig? Well, what are the things that I actually do have that can serve other people? Where instead of just, I'm a wedding photographer and there's 1,000, it's more of what do
What's
you
unique?
have that's different than other people?
Yeah.
And what client, what's your favorite client? If your client is aligned with what you're offering, then so be it. But if you want to elevate, then it's a different client. And then you need to talk to that client. And what are you going to provide to that client? And the value, it's it's like there's a price, but if the value is higher than the price, then it makes sense. At least on my
Yeah.
client's point.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, finding your unique selling points and then communicating in a very different way. That's what helped me so much. Change my thing.
Yeah.
Wait, no, this is what I
Mm.
wanted.
What was I gonna say?
Woo!
The disco. It's the same disco ball.
All right.
That is so cool. How do you do that? That is so cool. I don't
In
even know.
MacBook. Yeah, you don't have Apple,
You're
right?
like the tech guy. You're like all the ins and outs. I know how to do that on Zoom, but I don't know here. This is funny.
All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. I am gonna eat Dutch pancakes with my dog breakfast. What are you
Oh,
gonna do?
enjoy them. I'm actually gonna eat breakfast too because I have not eaten breakfast.
We
But
are
I don't
8 hours apart,
on
though.
what's my options though.
I'm just gonna go with a bike and go to a farm. There's a beautiful farm here, and they have pancakes, Dutch pancakes, and a lot of
Mm.
like toppings on it. And I have a dog that I'm taking care of, and I'm gonna do
No, your
just.
dog sitting.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia.
Bye, Sam. Thank you. Bye.